Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Andy Jenkinson, the Caravan Industry expert. Hi and welcome to the channel, and also welcome to a new video. Now it's a rather blustery day. Now what am I doing today? Well, you know, we've been looking at the caravan factories. Well, that will be something I'll continue to do as and when I can do. But also I thought about, what about caravan dealers? Caravan dealers are now long gone. You see, in the 50s and 60s, especially in the 60s and very early 70s, there must have been around about 350 plus caravan dealerships in the UK, far more than there is today. Back then there was lots of small family concerns, or just somebody would just start up selling caravans at a bit of spare land that they had, or garages used to do the same to help just add a bit more money along with maybe car sales or petrol sales. But today, I'm in my hometown Blackpool, and I've come today to a dealership that's been gone, I would think now about 40 years probably, and I actually feature a picture of it in 100 years of tour, 100 years of the touring caravan, the history press, and it's a company called Fylde Caravan Company. Now, Fylde Caravan sales were here as far as I can remember from the 60s, and it was only a small dealership, as often dealerships were, and it was sort of just off the town centre in Blackpool. Now, caravan dealerships in towns were quite common. Now, you have to forgive the wind because it is blowing quite a bit. Now, the thing is, I've put some stills on this video, and I've put a still on of what the still that was used in the book, of how it looked in its glory days in the I think the late 60s. The shot is. And this literally is about a mile from Blackpool town centre, off a road called Whitegate Drive. Now, as a kid, 10, 11, when my parents were looking at caravans, and some of my parents' friends were looking at caravans, Fylde Caravans was one of the places they came. Now, it's got a long driveway, it's got a bit of a driveway up, and I can remember this, because I'm going to tell you something else in a minute, and where the caravan display area was, obviously it is now no longer. So this is the only really remaining part of it. But let's just walk back up here again. The company used to sell various brands, Bluebird one, Pemberton another, Europe, which was part of the Bluebird set up, Fleetwind Caravans, which was a local manufacturer at just outside of Preston at Frettleton, and used caravans. Now, here, obviously, these have all been built probably late 70s, well, early 80s probably. Hi, alright. Right, it's per normal. I just sort of tell that guy what I was doing, really. Although I never did in the end. I just asked him if he knew anything about Fylde Caravans, but he knew nothing at all. Before his time, he said. Anyway, let's just get back on with this video again. So yeah, so it'd be about 1969. I can remember coming up with my mum and dad and their friends and looking at caravans. Now, in those days, there was probably about 10 caravans on display and a couple of statics. I remember that. And whizzing forward a couple of years, back into about 1973, when I was about 14, 15, we used to do a thing called day release from school. Now, I wanted to go into the caravan industry, and if you've seen the other video on Pemberton Caravans, which was the Dovedale Caravan branch of Blackpool, you'll relate to that. Now, day release back in that particular time was you could be a plumber, builder at college for about 12 months or so, and at Thursday, as I remember, it was always a Thursday, you were let off from school for the day and off you went and did your college course. But of course I didn't want to do any of that, did I? I wanted to make caravans, and I got a couple of kids, mates of mine at school, who were also quite interested in the caravan industry. And because Dad knew the careers teacher, hope this wind's not too much of a problem, try and get out of it a bit, the careers teacher wangled me a position on the Pemberton Caravan apprentices course and Duple coaches, because Duple was a big Blackpool coach manufacturer that folded in the, I think, about the mid to late 80s. But so going back to that, so when we was coming on Thursday, part-time tech was about a mile, maybe not even that, from here. And when we used to have our lunch break, which was about an hour, we used to walk up here. We used to go to a chip shop, get ourselves a bag of chips, and we used to be a couple of car dealerships around as well, little second-hand car, and we were mad on it, Ford Escorts. That's what we were going to get when we left school. We were going to get Escorts. Anyway, cut through that. We used to come up here to the Fylde Caravan Company, and we'd come and have a look around at the caravans. Now, going back again to 1973, the Fylde Caravan Company actually appeared in, well, they used to advertise in various magazines, but they also appeared in Caravan magazine, in the letters page, because they had this caravan and they couldn't understand what it was. And it happened to be a Coventry steel. Now, I'll show you the picture of that. They've appeared in my books. Because the guy who designed them was a real clever guy called Clifford Daughtry. Now, they got one here, they didn't know what it was. Anyway, Caravan magazine at that time, because they had a lot of editors that had been around for a long time, knew what it was, and the picture is in the magazine. Now I'm going to try and get that onto the video. So there was that, and I remember coming up and sort of seeing that caravan here, but we were never allowed to go in it. The salesman wouldn't allow us. You were just kids. But again, fast forwarding many years on, my daughter used to go and help out horse riding with a lady down the road from us. And anyway, after a while, it came about that actually her father had actually owned Fylde Caravans, and she can remember as a little girl being given jobs to wash the caravans. Now, as I say, I don't know exactly when it shut down, but I would think, from what I can gather, and I think she can remember, it shut down in the early 80s when the downturn came and a lot of dealerships disappeared. So what I'm trying to get at really is that there were so many dealers around, and interestingly, you know, they were here on boom times. Some went on and prospered and got bigger and then went bust. But on this one occasion, I'm not sure if a dad retired and called it a day, and the land would be sold off. Now this guy reckons, that I've just talked to before, he reckons that this has been up since the 70s. I doubt it very much, because as I say, I can remember there being like a sales office here, and I can remember the vans being in like a bit of a circle way here, round here, and a bit of a, as I say, an office at the top here. As I say, they'd have about 10 tourers, maybe 2 statics, but they did a lot of static sales onto sites. But it's all again part of that rich tapestry of the caravan industry. It's the heritage that this industry has that I don't want it to see being forgotten. I know these sort of things do get forgotten, and what difference does it make anyway, some of you may be saying. And I suppose up to a point, to the majority of the channel watchers, it doesn't make any difference at all. But to me, and probably to some others, they will see the relevance of how this has played its part in the industry today. Now, again, in those days, the industry was on a boom time. There was no doubt about it. It was booming. Lots of small manufacturers, as I say, lots of dealerships. Small dealerships like this, some that came and went very quickly. And some, as I said, grew and grew and got a lot bigger. But at least I can see the entranceway has survived, and that, yes, I'm pretty sure that's where the sales office was at the top, just at the top here. Definitely I'd say where the sales office was. Right, well, the battery went down on me. I should have looked because it did say 1 bar when I started this video. And Nikon batteries on their cameras really last a long time generally on the DSLRs. Anyway, enough of that. So where was I? Yeah, so basically there was loads of these dealerships around, and as I say, this bit here I think has all been obviously added on. But as I say, the caravans were definitely in this area here. And the dealership had been here, as I say, I think probably since the early 60s, maybe a bit even sooner than that, but probably about since the early 60s. And they sold some of the names that are long since gone. And what I'll do, I'll try and find an advert, because they used to advertise in the national magazines, because as often dealerships did. Fylde Caravan Company. Yeah. It may be gone, but it's certainly not been forgotten. Well, not in my books anyway. Literally. Yeah. Gosh, I could just remember seeing some of the vans that they had. Some of them were sort of from the 50s, and one or two old Bluebirds and things sort of knocking about. But they didn't sell many Tours, I must admit. As I say, they only had about 10 vans here. But back in the day, you could survive as a dealer on that. And as I say, also, he would have sold vans onto site. So people would have come, ordered the van, and he would have had a tie-up. They'd have had tie-ups with the parks and done a deal that way. So, I'm going to wrap this video up. And just one other thing as well, just coming back to the modern day now. If you saw the Bailey Pegasus advert, Bailey Pegasus video, I think I mentioned on there, well, I'm sure I mentioned on there at the beginning of it, that the Phoenix was due for a replenishment. Well, literally a couple of days after I made that statement and put that video on, sure enough, Bailey have announced that there is a GT75 Phoenix, which is what Bailey General do. My range is a GT60, I think they did a Pegasus GT65 or something like that, or 70, I can't remember just off the top of my hand. And I think they did a GT40 Ranger when they were 40 years old as well. So there is a upgraded Phoenix coming out. So I think really if you're after a Phoenix Plus at the moment, I'd be looking for a bit of discount on it because it is going to be replaced. And the GT75, I don't think they'll do anything much on the exterior of it. They'll probably do some interior changes, of course, and it'll be interesting, of course, to see what the prices will be like. Anyway, I'm diversing. I'm going to get back in the car now, and I'm going to go and see what's what on the channel, and hopefully get this video loaded up. And please do keep giving me comments. As I say, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, the history videos on regards, manufacturers and that, but I just want to bring it to people's notice that all these were sort of, played a part. And it's just so, I mean, there was many as I say, dealers around that have been long and gone forgotten, and where they were have long been obliterated. Even the great Barron's Great Outdoors that were taken over by Discovery Group, which I'm going to do a video of them at some stage at Chorley, although they started off here at Blackpool, and again I could do a video on that bit where they started off from, and what a massive dealership they were to go and crumble away, and now it's a housing estate. And I spent many years going to Barron's, and I loved it going down there because I knew a lot of people. And also coming up will be a factory, long lost caravan factory. Well, it's not all that long lost actually, only a couple of years. And that'll be Luna, because again, plenty of Lunas still around, and I spent a lot of time at the factory over the last 20 plus years, and I got to know a lot of people there. I think I went to Luna, my first trade show was there, it was in 1995-96, and from there on I went to all the trade shows, and I was a regular at that factory, taking vans out, reviewing them for then Scottish Caravan Magazine, Practical Caravan Magazine, Caravan Club, Camping Caravan Club, and Caravan Magazine, to name but a few. So I just wish Luna was still around now, because I could have had some great times taking those vans up and out for the day and doing some great videos on them. But alas, sadly, and it is sadly because I still mourn Luna going. But anyway, I'm diversifying. Please keep watching, please keep subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Look at that, typically how the wind's dropped, hasn't it? Always amazes me, these sort of tucked away places. Anyway, see you on the next video.